I'm Jared Poland, and I like movies.
I'm Todd Wolf, and I make movies. And this is FroKnowsMovies.
Oh, yeah! Welcome back to FroKnowsMovies, episode number 4. I'm Jared Poland.
And I'm Todd Wolf.
He's Todd Wolf.
Thanks for letting me say my name this week.
I let him say his name this week.
Thank you.
Say my name, say my name. Yeah, but anyway, so welcome back. It's been a busy week.
Yes.
We had a lot to watch.
Yeah, it seemed that way. Well, you had a little bit more because you had the pitch this week.
I had the pitch.
Yes.
I had the home flick that was recommended by a Fro reader.
Yep.
A FroKnowsMovies reader.
Yes,
Let me get that right. Because we look for your guys' recommendations, and because like 4 people recommended this movie on Netflix, we went ahead and did it. So we're going to talk about that coming up later in the show. Last week, we talked about The Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about, I went and saw The Fault in Our Stars.
Fonts.
Right, exactly. And it's interesting how they did this week. The Fault in Our Stars pretty much it topped out. I think everybody that had a Fault in Their Stars went and saw it, and it's about $80-some million, which isn't bad for a $12 million budgeted movie.
Not at all.
And what is that one called? Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow
was a movie that wasn't doing too well here, but they actually started to do better because word of mouth. And like we said last week, you gave it which was actually positive, a half thumb.
Yeah. Just I wasn't through the roof loving it. I thought it was a really solid movie, but I couldn't give it a thumbs down though. Couldn't give it a thumbs down.
Well, I liked it a lot, and if you guys want to see last week's episode, you can go ahead and click up on the screen to do so. And while you're there, there's a subscribe button, right? There's a subscribe button, Todd?
Yeah, probably right here.
Todd, don't forget to put the subscribe button. Make a note.
It's right here.
Right there. Subscribe, please, so that you can be notified when we put up the newest and latest and greatest movie video things that we do. So, are we ready to jump into the show?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's, what are we getting into first? The
Preview.
Coming soon?
No, coming soon? Coming soon.
This is coming soon. It's coming soon.
I think we just found a transformer.
Yeah. You feel it, baby?
Dad, you can't keep spending money on junk.
I can too.
This is a bad Transformers.
And we can be.
Bring it up. All the way.
That's my rendition of Marky Mark in the Transformers bunch.
Do it again.
Do we really need you?
Well, it's only
with
2 out of
your
3
only
weeks.
shirt off?
Hold on. Let me button that up. I got snaps on this one.
I mean, your shirt's off the whole time we're setting up, and I mean, this is like the rare time I get to see you with your shirt on.
All right, fine. So, Transformers. I've seen the trailer like 7 times now before each movie that we watch, and it's just like, what number is this? 5? 4? What number are they up to? Because there's been way too many Michael Bay. First off, I can't stand Michael Bay.
Go ahead, continue.
All right, I'll continue because when he was at CES this year and he got on stage to talk about some movie, he was basically getting paid by Samsung to get up there and talk, and the teleprompter ended up not working. So basically what he did, the CEO or whoever it was from Samsung was rolling with it because he had like some skill to go, oh, so what was this all like? And so Michael Bay's trying and he's like,
well, when you're handed everything, you don't really need to think on your feet.
But the best part is when he goes,
excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay.
and he walks off stage.
Oh, well, thank God our teleprompters are spot on.
Boom, teleprompter,
Boom, teleprompter.
We actually don't have teleprompter, so I'm not looking forward to this movie. I don't think I want to see it. I like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, personally, even though he acts the same in every single movie, though Boogie Nights, first DVD I ever purchased.
I'll give you Boogie Nights. And I will congratulate him on Entourage. I love Entourage. But first off, the Transformers is an absolute disaster to me. I can't recognize any fucking Transformer. They all look like scrap metal.
Well, Optimus Prime is Optimus Prime because he rolls in a truck.
You know, you know him because you recognize the voice.
Well, I saw the first ones with Shia LaBeouf because I like Shia LaBeouf.
And
that girl.
Fox.
Jennifer Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. So she was in it. She was hot, but she then had a problem. She demanded more money. Look, moral of the story, this doesn't look like a movie that I personally want to see because I've only seen one Transformers, and that was enough for me.
I am an 80s child, and I grew up with the real Transformers. And Michael Bay has
You mean the animated?
Yes, and Michael Bay has made a mockery of my childhood.
And multi-million dollars.
Oh, I understand. It's a fun, action-packed movie. I mean, it's cars transforming into robots. It was awesome 25 years ago, and it's still awesome. It's just a very, pardon my French, it is a clusterfuck of a visual every time I watch it. There's so much commotion and nonsense going on that you can't really care.
Well, in this one, a guy's face gets hit by a tire of a car.
Oh, like a human gets hit by the Transformer.
No, it's not a Transformer. It's a car that got blown up that is coming out of something, and the guy's there with a gun, and the car tire spins right past his face.
I took that as one of the Transformers, like basically doing a little.
No, it's just a car.
Jiu-jitsu.
It was just a car.
Oh, all right.
I think we need to move on.
Again, confusing, not looking forward to it, not paying money for this until it's on HBO.
What do you think? I know some of you like Transformers, but is it overdone? My opinion, yes. Todd's opinion, absolutely. Now let's move on to what else is coming soon. Speaking of coming soon, we've got a sex tape.
You're naughty, Len. You're naughty. You're naughty, Len. You're naughty.
We've got a sex tape trailer to review, and that's Sex Tape with Cameron Diaz and Jason Segel, one of which is okay to see almost naked. The other, Cameron Diaz, I mean the other way around. Jason Segel, you get to see his bikini, but he actually looks like he lost weight.
Oh, he's fine, but yeah, Cameron Diaz, I'd like to see her sex tape. Yes, thank you.
I think she's having a midlife crisis right now and wants to try to get her sexy back. Oh, since she does not with Justin Timberlake.
Well, my take on this is I've already been burnt by a funny, sexy Cameron Diaz via Bad Teacher.
I did not see that.
I was really excited about Bad Teacher, and then all the funny, awesome parts I saw in the trailer were not even in the movie. And
Why is that the case?
I bet you they probably trimmed some of the harsher stuff down for ratings, for whatever. I have no. That's what I'm guessing. But it was such a disappointment to me, and it was such a great premise, great performances. I feel like that was a case of a bad edit, and I was very disappointed. I go into this. This is from the creators of Bad Teacher, so I'm already a little apprehensive to be too excited.
Right, so basically the premise of the movie is that Jason Segel is married to Cameron Diaz, they have a bunch of kids, they don't have a lot of sex, and they're trying to figure out how to spice it up.
They have kids?
I think she said, yeah, they had kids. I read it on Wikipedia
Copy that.
or IMDb. It said something about kids.
Gotcha.
I think they have 2 kids, but they didn't even mention that in the trailer.
Not at all.
So they're trying to get their sexy back, so what do? They're like, well, why don't we make a sex tape? So then they go ahead and they make a sex tape, which is okay for Cameron Diaz looking at her. And then she's like, well, will you erase it? And then so happens that they must have filmed it with the iPad or something, and it uploads to the cloud.
So my biggest problem here is giving iPads out to all your friends. Who gives iPad? Who have you bought an iPad for? Yourself.
Myself, you're right.
I bought one for myself and my wife.
And your daughter bought one for herself.
And my daughter bought her own. But my boss doesn't need me to buy him a damn iPad. My boss has 14 of them.
Who's being played by Rob Lowe.
Yeah, and the postman I barely say hello to. I'm gonna give him an iPad. This is such a huge hole. You're gonna give one to your best friend. I gave my best friend an Apple TV. That cost me like $100. $600. Are they Oprah? That they're giving iPads out to everybody?
Well, I understand.
Help me.
Okay, I'll help you. I understand your plot hole. And I also have another plot hole for you. Other than Cameron Diaz does look pretty hot from the front.
Just show me in the roller skates. I'll watch 90 minutes of that.
Right, because
cool.
There's multiple trailers of this movie. One of them talks about giving away the iPad, and the other one didn't. So it depends on which one you watch to get that plot issue. But I have another issue. One, yes, she gave it to everybody. Two, there's a reason you don't sync your stuff with the cloud, because you never know what you're going to get a picture of. I mean, I'm single, Todd. I know you're not single.
Yeah,
but that's not the.
I can barely get anything to sync. I can't get my email to sync properly, let alone get a sex tape up there.
Well, that's beside the point. But with that said, what doesn't make any sense, You've got Rob Corddry in this movie, who's probably funny as hell. That guy is always funny. But then they go on this wild goose chase to try to get it off the internet. You can't, once it's out on the internet, so who wrote this? Somebody that doesn't know anything about tech? Because you can't go to like the server farm and start beating up stuff with a baseball bat.
I'm gathering, I bet you they go to like a Steve Jobs' house to try to get some passcode, and it's this big plot and all this stuff. You know what? If you wouldn't give iPads out to people you don't really care about,
who does something like buy iPads for everybody?
You know who gives out iPads to everybody? Out-of-touch studio execs who sign off on movies like this and don't see that as a plot point. They're like, oh yeah, I gave out iPads to all my interns this year. Nobody gives out iPads. Nobody gives out iPads. Nobody. I'm not giving an iPad to my grandmother. I'm not giving one to my cousin. I barely bought one for my wife. I'm done.
So Todd's done with this movie. We can kind of see that it's not one that, well, I definitely don't want to see it in the theater because it's bait and switch. It's like they're going to show you Cameron Diaz almost naked, which is great. But then you're going to get to this movie and you're going to sit there and you're going to just go like this. No. No good. So the moral of the story is this, again, is not a movie that I think I'm not going to waste money. I'm just going to say it. I will not waste money on this movie.
I'm going to watch it at home. I'm interested. I think both of them are very funny. I think the premise is funny. Huge plot holes. I will wait until it's on the Hobo.
Yes. What are you going to do? You going to see it? You not going to see it? I know I'm not. Todd's waiting for the Hobo. Now let's see what else is coming soon.
You should probably start this because you're the star.
All right, coming soon, Wish I Was Here by Zach Braffs.
And I wish this was the trailer we were talking about since the first one.
Wish I Was Here is another movie that went to Kickstarter, and Zach Braff went there as one of the first 2 or 3 movies that did so, and they raised like $2 million to kickstart this movie.
Yeah, and I think his initial budget that he was trying to get was like 1.2. Blew past it in no time, caught a little bit of shit for it, but I say, bravo, you have a tried and true brand. Garden State I adore, and I don't think studios were beating down his door to do another movie like that.
Well, also he comes from Scrubs, made a ton of money on that, so I don't have a problem. I don't care how people, if they're going to yell at them, people for going to Kickstarter. Look, if people are going to fund it, it's their choice. They're not being forced to, and if they want to buy the DVD early, it's like they're just pre-selling the Blu-ray, pre-selling to a screener, pre-selling. Now, let's just talk about this trailer.
Yes.
The trailer, his soundtracks, you just wish you could walk down the street and have the Shins playing in your ear at all time because it just makes you feel like light and airy. So the soundtrack's going to be fantastic.
It was in Garden State. I expect nothing less here. I think this is just a cousin of Garden State. It's not a sequel. It's just an extension of the same vibe as Garden State with him being a little bit older, having kids. I believe he's a stay-at-home dad and he homeschools his kids. And I feel like there's some imagination things that happen. And
well, yeah, based on the trailer, you see that. You see a swear jar where he's like, well, the swear jar is going to pay for your college education. So the kid's like, hairy balls, you know? And then you got, I believe, his father, and you got Kate Hudson who's talking, and I guess the guy may be dying, and then the kids want to explore or create something. So that's when they go into this fantasy thing. It's pretty cool. The girl gets her hair cut, shaved her head.
It looks it looks cute. It looks fun. I mean, it's right down my alley. I dig Zach Braff, and I dig Garden State so much that I'm going to check this out.
Yeah, and it's just one of those feel-good movies.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna feel good, unlike the other ones that we've talked about. So this is definitely a movie that I'm going to see, and hopefully it's one of those preview reviews or review previews or whatever we call it. But Wish I Was Here is a movie that I think we're both looking forward to going to see. So now, it's time for the home flick.
Home flicks.
Home flicks, home flicks, home flicks, home flicks, home flicks, home flicks, home flicks.
So this week's home flick was a little different. It came from a recommendation by a couple of people on the Facebook and on the YouTube.
A couple people.
And what's the movie?
Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, Mr. Nobody, which you can find on Netflix for free. It stars the one and only
Jared Leto.
It's Leto.
Why is it Leto?
Isn't it Jared Leto?
Sure.
It's Jared Leto.
I like Leto better. I like Jared Leto.
Yeah, Leto. It's Leto. Shit. Thank you, Todd. But so I've never heard of this movie.
Never. No.
Never once.
It was at the Venice Film Festival. Won Best Picture, won Best Director. It was a big success there. I mean, the Venice Film Festival is one of the oldest film festivals in the world. Very prestigious.
So, Todd, I want to know what you thought first, because I've already made up my mind.
All right. I'm going to say that this is a very artsy, heady type of film. Now, it's a filmmaker's film. Like, this is the filmmaker showing off, pulling out all the stops. I'm going to show off. I'm going to do all this non-linear stuff. I'm going to jump around. I'm like the next level Tarantino. And it just comes off as very inconsiderate to the audience because I have to sit there and put your story together in my brain for 2.5 hours.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
And it was not enjoyable to me. I appreciated the acting. I appreciated the cinematography. I appreciated the special effects were phenomenal. The special effects were done by the same guy that did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Great, great, great special effects. It was a chore to watch this movie.
So what was your rating?
Man, I'm going to give it a 6.
All right, so is it my turn?
Yeah, sure.
So here's my thought. I struggled to get through the first 30 minutes. But before I do that, I got you a gift. I got you a gift right here. There's this. Don't press that button.
This button? Which button?
The top button.
This?
Yeah, because the movie starts off with him in a car and drowning and he can't break the glass.
Oh,
so I literally paused the movie right when this happened. I'm like, I want to buy something that gets me out of my car if I land in water. So what you will do, Todd, you would press this against the corner of the window and it will shatter the glass.
Well.
And this,
cuts the seatbelt.
This cuts the seatbelt.
You want to know why I know that?
Did you just order one yourself?
Because my wife has already bought me one.
Oh, Jesus. Well, okay, so you don't need this.
No, but...
Okay, I'll get back.
Continue.
Yeah, so...
But thank you.
You're welcome. I was going to save your life.
Thank you.
If that ever happened. So I struggled to get through the first half an hour, and I honestly almost turned it off. But then something happened. I started to like the story because I guess I started to understand it more, or I saw myself as being in the story. Okay. I saw myself as being this guy, and spoilers for anybody out there, well, I guess I'm not giving too much of the story away by saying this, but basically what happens is he runs his life by making decisions multiple different ways, or he's running through multiple ways. Like, if he chose to flip coins and go with the decisions every time, then this is how his life would end up. Or if he chose to go this direction with his mother, his life would end up this way.
You can see where each decision takes him, basically.
So basically, he's playing his life out depending on what situation happens, and does it end up the same if he goes to the left or if he goes to the right? You know, that's for you to figure out at the end of the movie. But I don't understand the whole, he's 117 years old and he's the last mortal on Earth. That made no sense. The story unto itself felt good, and I kind of felt myself being a part of it because I'm a person that makes decisions or thinks about them fully before I do things.
And you might second guess everything we do.
I might second guess everything that we do.
Well, maybe this was a big problem I had with the movie, is I feel like this is the umpteenth time travel freaking movie I've watched in the last 3 weeks. I watched About Time. I watched this movie. What was the movie we watched a couple weeks ago? Where we're freaking going through time again. And I was just like, can I just see a linear story and see something happening from beginning to end? Again, it was work for me to get through this.
All right, so I totally understand where you're coming from, but this is a Netflix movie that you can watch. So if you already have Netflix, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. I suggest you try to get through the first half an hour, and if you get an hour into it and you still think it's too much work, then definitely pull the trigger and stop watching it. But I'm going to go ahead and give it like a 7+.
Okay.
No number after it, just a 7+.
I feel like you're kind of copping out there. Is it a 7.1? 7.1 and
No, it's a 7
7.9.
plus. 7 plus means that it's over a 0.5 because it's a plus. It's like getting an A plus versus C plus versus a D plus. It's a plus. It's on the other side.
So 7.5.
No, it's a 7.625 is what I'm going to give
All
this
right,
movie.
I'll take that.
And what was it called again?
Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody. So, you guys, check out Mr. Nobody on TV, on your Netflix, if you've got it. And now we're going to move into the pitch.
And here's the windup and the pitch. It's out of here.
And it's your turn. You pitched me last week.
I pitched you a movie that I really like. It's called Bongwater. It stars Luke Wilson, Jack Black, Brittany Murphy, and Jamie Kennedy, a whole host of young actors, comedic actors.
Okay, so this movie's from 1997.
97.
It's no longer on Netflix, by the way.
Really?
So I had to freaking pay $2.99 because I was going to text you, but I didn't want to give up the secret because I'm like, I got to watch it for these people at home so they can know what to do about Bongwater, and it would be better if I talked to Todd about it during the show and don't give away all the secrets. So I paid $2.99 to rent this piece of shit.
I have the DVD. I could have let you.
Well, you didn't. And I would have thrown it out the freaking window because this is one of the biggest pieces of garbage that I have ever seen. And that's me being honest with you. This movie makes no freaking sense. First off, it's shot terribly because whatever film stock they used didn't translate well over to digital. It sounds like crap. I can barely hear it. My TV was at 60. That's way too loud for my TV. But the storyline makes no sense. You've got you got a pot dealer who's sitting at home, and some random girl comes into his house, and then they're going out. Just like by the next scene, they've been going out. You want to talk about a chore to watch a movie? This movie was an absolute chore, and I wish I could have turned it off, but I stuck through it till it got to the very end when the resolution happens, which I won't tell you about. There's fucking aliens? What? That makes no sense. They're like looking up and they're top of the
best part.
Were you high when you watched this movie?
I don't think I was.
You had to be high to see this movie.
I think this movie is really funny. I mean, if you go into it understanding it's a stoner comedy,
but it's not a stoner comedy. I'm going to interrupt you. It wasn't a stoner comedy. You said it was like Half-Baked. Half-Baked is funny as shit.
It's not like Half-Baked.
Yeah, you know why
it came out at the same time.
Do you know why? Yeah. Good. I'm glad he said that it came out at the same time, because you want to know why it's not like Half-Baked? Because it's not funny. It's not funny at all. The only funny stuff is when Jack Black is in there for like 2 minutes singing ring ding a ding 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 a ding ding dong. You know, that's his thing. That's Jack Black. Okay? But the rest of this movie, I can't recommend it. Tell me I'm an asshole. Tell me I'm being a dick. Tell me I'm being wrong. Yes. But I think you're going to agree with me that this is one of the biggest pieces of garbage ever. Your rebuttal is now.
I don't need to rebut it too much. I already gushed about it last week, I believe. I would say that similar to Best Man Down, people are on both sides of the fence on this. It's not like people rave about this. Some people like it, some people don't. I truly enjoy it. I know people like this that I see.
They're crazy.
And I know a lot of crazy people.
You must have eaten that little treat I gave you, and you must have passed out and watched this movie.
I like this movie. It's a fun movie. It's not that serious. It's a fun movie. It's a coming of age. For me personally, I would probably give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I forgot to give my rating, and if there was a negative score, which now there officially is a negative score, this gets a negative 6.259. Negative.
I will say this, that there in no capacity should ever be that low of a score.
This movie officially gets the lowest score ever.
I'm going to put this out there. Movies are really difficult to make. There's so many moving parts, and there are a lot of people that work really hard on, and this is just me personally because I know how hard they are. A lot of people that work really hard. Nobody goes into a movie thinking like, yeah, let's make a piece of shit. Everybody wants to make the best movie, so I think my base automatically starts at a 5. So I would say, I think this is a good movie. If you kind of like stoner movies, coming of age, if you like these actors in it, they're at their best in it.
But there's not even a lot of weed smoking.
Just a little bit. It's not all about that.
All right, we've had enough.
Enough.
Todd likes this movie. I think it's a piece of garbage that they should light up in a bong, smoke it, spit it out, cough a bunch of times, and never think about again. But if you want to watch it, go ahead and do it and tell us what you think. So now, it's my turn to pitch Todd. Hopefully, my movie is better than the one that he recommended me last week. And this time, I am pitching him The Girl Next Door. This is a movie that I loved. And this is a movie that I've been telling Todd to watch for a long time. Are you upset? Are you sulking? You look like your daughter right now, sulking.
I don't want your pitch.
Oh, you don't want my pitch?
What's your pitch?
Okay. The Girl Next Door. You have Emile Hirsch and you have Alicia Cuthbert. So the moral of this is a great premise. Check out this premise.
So you say.
The great premise. Emile Hirsch, he's underage at this time. He's in high school. He needs $25,000 to get a scholarship to go to school because the family doesn't have a lot of money, right? So he's a straight A student. He doesn't ever do anything out of line. He doesn't drink. He doesn't go out. He just studies until the girl next door moves in. And he falls in love with her, but it turns out that she's a porn star. So this movie, when they first came out with it, they said that this is the next American Pie. And I thought that was the thing. And I didn't like the original American Pie first, which was the first movie that I allegedly illegally downloaded onto AOL in 28 parts that took 4 weeks to do probably on that 36.6 connection. Awesome. But they were so completely wrong to say that this was American Pie. This movie was so much smarter and so much better than American Pie that I'm building it up tremendously to give Todd some leeway here to rip on it if he wants to, but I don't think he is. So my movie this week that's part of the pitch is The Girl Next Door. Not only is Alicia Cuthbert hot, but I think it is a tremendous story that is funny, that I think you're going to love it from a filmmaker standpoint because the whole thing is they get an idea to film a movie and they go through it and they do it in this film. So Todd, my pitch is The Girl Next Door.
I'll watch it. I still don't like you.
You still don't like me? All right, well, you can stop liking me, but why don't you talk about what we saw in theaters this week?
In theaters now.
So in theaters now, we watched 22 Jump Street.
Booyah! Hey!
22 Jump Street, the sequel to 21 Jump Street, surprisingly enough.
So basically, the old church was sold back to the Vietnamese Christians, and then they bought the Buddhist.
Vietnamese. It was the Vietnamese guys.
All across the street, 22 Jump Street.
Vietnamese. That was part of the joke.
So is it my turn to go first this time?
Sure, you can go.
Because you went first and with the last one.
Yeah, sure.
So what did I think of 22 Jump Street? Well, it was funny.
Yeah.
It had its moments.
Sure.
And what I like about it is that they make fun of sequels the whole time. They flat out just make fun of the industry and how sequels normally work. Now the story is they are now in college and they have to do the exact same thing as they did in the first movie. So you have to see the first movie pretty much to really see the second because they tie it all together.
Yeah, to get all the jokes in 22, you almost have to watch 21.
People seem to really like it in the theater. Yeah. The reviews seem to be pretty good. I thought it was right in the middle. I thought it was an okay movie, you know, give it a 7 if I had to give anything something. It was better than Neighbors.
I think it was definitely better than Neighbors. I found it funny. I like that they poked fun at themselves. The downside was that a lot of the best jokes were in the trailer. So when they came out in the movie, I was like, yep, I've seen that already, The only positive thing that I saw that wasn't in the trailers was the twist with Ice Cube and the girl at school and those things. I found that to be really funny. Like, there's a part where they talk about when they've got a girl that died, and they say we care about her even more because she's black. I rolled in the theater when that started. So there were some genuinely funny parts that weren't in the trailer, but most of the funny parts were in the trailer.
You know what I find interesting though? There's one-liners that they say that I laugh at that nobody else in the theater's laughing at.
Like what?
Because they were, I don't even know what they were, but they're so subtle, but they're funny to me because I get it because it's kind of considered to be like smart.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. There were also two times where there were two people that recently died. Like there was a Maya Angelou joke.
Yes.
Which was too soon.
Yes.
And then there was one other which was very, and I don't remember what the other one was.
I noticed that too.
But there were two things that I sat there and I was like, oh, too soon.
Yeah, I know. And they were like, damn it, do we re-edit? But they were like, we're already too deep into this.
So honestly, this movie I think the first one was better because it was more of an action thriller.
Well, the first one was probably better because it was fresh. I think the funniest thing out of the whole movie was probably the credits.
Yeah, they tell you to stay and watch the credits, so we won't tell you what happened in the credits. It was funny, but then it was just too much. So what did you give this movie?
I'm going to give it an 8. Because I don't think people should absolutely stay away from it. If they liked 21 Jump Street and they already thought that was cool, it's more of the same. If you understand that going into it, it's a fun movie. If you didn't like 21 Jump Street, then do not go see this movie. I felt like a lot of the funny was already in the trailer, but I'm not going to hold that against it too much. Regardless of the score, to me, this was better than Neighbors.
And I definitely agree with you. I didn't hate this movie. I think it's funny. I like the one-liners. I think there's some good points into it if you need a movie to go see. It did $57 million in the opening weekend, which is very good on a $50 million budget. So I liked it. I'm not going to go back and talk about scores, but better than Neighbors. I'll leave it at that.
If you enjoyed 21 Jump Street, go see it. You'll have a good time. Go out with some friends. If you're on the fence, wait. See it at home.
Yeah.
If you didn't like 21 Jump Street, you shouldn't even be watching this review.
Exactly. All right, so now we're going to move into what we're going to see next week, and it's a pretty light week for movies coming out. I believe there were like two feature major ones coming out, but this one that we're going to see is pretty major, and it's called Jersey Boys. Have you seen Jersey Boys on Broadway?
I did, but what's really weird about it is they just drive around in circles in the roundabouts, and they can't get onto the right street. It's horrible.
Well, because you can't make a left turn, right?
It's the worst movie ever because they just drive around in circles, can't make a left turn.
So you saw it on Broadway?
I absolutely did not. I'm just making a joke.
Oh, you made it up?
No. But I've heard good things. Now, you mentioned this trailer to me a few weeks ago, and I was like, I don't want to see no Jersey. Saw the trailer in the theater the other week, and I was like, I texted my Jared. It's like, Jared, we should watch the Jersey Boys.
Well, it's a Frankie Valli story, basically.
It kind of looks cool.
4 seasons.
Yes.
They were a music group, and it's kind of plays like maybe there's a little bit of mob going on in there. Maybe there's there's a lot of music going on there. Maybe there's a lot of sex and drugs and rock and roll. Yeah. It's not really rock and roll. It's like, what are some songs?
Can't take my eyes off of you.
Can't take my eye. What?
That's it.
That's all you got out of it?
Can't take my eyes off you. That's all I got.
I love you, baby. What if I leave you there? I want you, baby, to live my lonely nights. I want you, baby, 'cause touching me and touching you. All right. So Frankie Valli, this movie looks good. I may go see it with my dad.
I think it looks really interesting. I think there's a lot of history there. And obviously the soundtrack's going to be awesome. Just when I was watching the trailer, I was like, oh, all those songs are really cool.
It's a hit after a hit after hit
after
hit after hit.
So if it's anywhere in the same vein as like a Ray, where it was very entertaining, great music, great backstory, pull the curtain back to see what really happened behind the scenes, I'm into it. I want to know about it. I don't really, we didn't come up in that age. I want to know a little bit more about it. I'm into it.
So I think my dad has seen the thing on Broadway, and I think a ton of people have seen Jersey Boys play around the world because they've taken it. So I haven't, but I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be above average, and I'm looking forward to hearing the music because I like music in movies. So that's kind of where we're at, Todd. I think we've done everything. We've done Coming Soon.
That's the whole show?
That's the whole show.
I don't want to leave.
You don't want to leave?
No.
But you can't stay here.
Son of a...
All right. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube so that we can get... Todd looks at the numbers all day. I'm trying to train him about numbers. Stop looking at the numbers and just make a fun show that people enjoy watching. We look for your guys' interactions. Leave us comments. What do you think? Are we right? Are we wrong? Do you feel that we're so far off base? You tell us. Do you have recommendations for trailers we should watch, movies we should watch, or home flicks? We definitely would love to hear from you guys so that we could get you involved and let you, and really take your information.
No, absolutely. As much work as you guys can do for us so we don't have to do anything, the better.
It's not true. We do a lot of work. A lot of work. What are you looking at, Todd? This whole setup takes time. So anyway, Thank you guys for watching very much. Don't forget that on iTunes, you also can download it to listen because Todd's wife, rather, she likes to listen.
She doesn't like to look at you.
She likes to listen opposed to watch. So I'm going to sign out now, all right?
Fine.
So thank you guys for watching FroKnowsMovies. This has been episode number 4. You are
Todd Wolf.
and I am Jared Poland from FroKnowsMovies. End roll credits.
End scene.
Roll credits.
I thought it was end
It
scene.
was roll credits.
We don't even have credits.
We don't have credits.
We don't even put credits up.
Maybe we should have credits.
It's gonna be you, me, and Steven. Stefan, I mean Stefan.
Produced by Stephen Eckert.
Produced by Stefan.
Edited by Todd Wolf. Starring Jared Poland and Todd Wolf.
And second guest by Jared Poland.
I am the first and second guest. So let me ask you something, Todd. Have you ever snuck into a movie?
No! I'm way too much of a pussy to sneak into a movie.
Well, see, back in high school, but I'm thinking because you're so old, because you're like,
No, I just was, I don't like to break the law. Like, I just naturally thought I was gonna get caught.
but did you have multiplex theaters, like really big ones?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what we used to do in high school? We used to get on the internet, you know, the dial-up on AOL at the time, and we would.
You got mail.
Ding! I love that movie, by the way. We used to look at the times that the movies would play. So we would look at which was the older movie because we knew that would play in the front. Or we would look at the newer one because it would play in the front, and then we could walk towards the back. There were 24 theaters, so we could walk from one and go into the next one, and that's how we used to do it.
They didn't notice the guy with the fro going into every theater?
This was 1998. I did not have a fro. I had a very buzz cut head.
Really?
Yeah.
You have like a high top fade, like Kid and Play?
No, I
Just
used
kid.
I used to have tracks, but that was in 1989.
What?
89. That was the
You
thing.
had the Vanilla Ice joints?
I had 3 of them on both sides.
And this is where I put it on screen.
I don't think I have any of those photos.
You've got to be kidding me. Really? Your
I may.
FroKnows photo. You don't have a photo.
Maybe not.
You have that photo somewhere.